Good morning, everyone. Has a good coffee in the morning. So today a friend of mine asked me a question about buying or not buying an exhaust manifold. He showed me a picture. It was a shitty one. The price was good, like really good, but obviously I wouldn't give it even a tenner. However, because of that, I had an idea today. I'm gonna make a video about exhaust manifolds, and this is actually a good point because I've made an exhaust manifold on my van, on my 606 super turbo motherfucker diesel, and I had no space to make my own exhaust manifold like I did my race car, which I would like to, but obviously you see they take a lot of space, which I didn't have. So I came up with an idea, and this is a lie because I did not come with this idea. I've seen this on the internet. I've seen a picture of someone put somewhere on a forum. I did not have access to the forum, but I've seen the picture and I understand how it works because it's very, very simple. These two exhaust manifolds are from both OM 606, OM 605 engine, 6-cylinder engine and 5-cylinder engine. And now I'm not really a big fan of log-style manifolds, and I'm gonna get to this point very shortly, but let me explain what I've done on mine to overcome, let's say, a big problem with the log-style manifolds. They can be different ways to make log-style manifolds. However, there are shitty ones, there are better ones, there are actually pretty good ones as well. But to these particular two ones, OM series engines, now if you pay attention, this is what happens. But the biggest problem with exhaust manifolds is the gas distribution, is the gas flow. Now people think in pressure. As soon as it holds the pressure, it makes 1000 brake horsepower, no problems. If you has been proved that the Cummins on the log-style manifolds they make 1000 brake horsepower, no problems. Oh, you fucking dumb dickhead. It's not about the pressure, it's about the flow with the pressure, all right? So yes, you can make good power. You can make a decent power, you can make very good power on a log-style manifold, even on a shitty manifold, even on a shitty plenum. But the way you make the power is completely different, and the health of your engine is going to depend on that, because it decides how efficient your engine works or inefficient. And usually with the log-style manifolds, they run quite inefficient. Let me explain why. These two actually, they're not really that bad of the exhaust manifolds for being log styles. Now you see you got one port and second port. You see the direction these hot gases flow. Let's talk about air, okay? Particles of air, particles of hot gases, whatever you want to call it, CO2, doesn't matter, hot gases. So you got these particles going from here and this one going from here. This likely you see they kind of join together in a roughly the same direction, okay? No problems there. This one, it joins at 90 degrees, almost, so a little bit less. Now these two fuckers, they join again at the same direction, but what happened? You got these 3 cylinders and these 2 cylinders pumping up hot gases, and they face each other. So you got these pricks and these pricks fighting each other. Oh mate, I'm gonna go that direction. This one's going to say, no mate, we're going to go this direction. It's a fucking fight. And obviously the fucking cast comes over and says, oi, I'm making decisions here. And the fucking gas says, who the fuck are you? Well, I'm a fucking cast. I'm iron, so I'm gonna decide where you're going. And they're gonna go actually in this direction. So you see no problems there. The gases always go in this direction. Obviously this is the turbo, where the turbo is bolted, so they go to the turbo. Fair enough. But why making this fucking big argument? I mean, because when they fucking argue, you generate a lot of pressure here, a lot of tension between these dickheads, and they had to argue, generated turbulences and hot spots and all this stuff, because obviously they, you know, hot-headed, right? So, this is not really great. Now, what I've done to improve that setup, because obviously then you have to think, obviously the all 6 cylinders, 6 or 5 exhaust pods, they're going into one small one, okay? So it is pretty restrictive at the end of the story. Yes and no, because at the end it still goes into a one turbo, they still have to go into one obviously smaller port. But when you install a bigger turbo, let's sneak up what we have here from Steve. He's got some fucking awesome turbos. Let's do one of these ones here. Okay, this is a twin scroll, so it doesn't apply. But however, let's imagine this is a single scroll, and you see that port there, it is much bigger than this one here. So when you install a bigger turbo, it doesn't matter if this is small and you say, oh, it's gonna go into small port anyway. No, it's gonna go into bigger port. So what I did, these are nearly identical. It's just one cylinder missing here, and you see these flanges, they're not overlapping. So what you do, what I've done, I've chopped one of these here, so I end up with just this part, and what I did on this one, cut it over there, and I end up just with this. So I've joined them together, you know what I mean? So this does the 4, 5 and 6 cylinder, and this one does 1, 2 and 3. So basically what I've done, I separated the first 3 into one scroll and the second 3 into the second scroll. And this is exactly how you build the exhaust manifolds, even the tubular ones. You separate the 2 scrolls, they're separated by this final order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this actually works pretty good. And that way, if you see in the 4, 5 and 6, both or all 3 of them, they kind of go into one direction, and there's nothing actually to stop them. There's no this side, this dickhead's coming from this side arguing these ones. So they all go kind of all right, flowing into one direction towards the flange. Now the 1, 2 and 3 is a little bit of a different story, because you see this one and this one go in the same direction, but this one is actually facing towards them. However, it's kind of like the way they design it kind of invite them to go a little bit in this direction here. Is not really that bad. I mean, it's not great, but we can live with this. So you end up with 2 flanges, so you have the whole amount of 6 cylinders breathing from twice the amount of obviously the exit, because you got 2 of them, and then into the bigger turbo. So that's what I've done on this car, and it works pretty decent. Okay, I made a prototype intake plenum, equal flow plenum, but this is kind of like a ugly prototype one. I didn't know if it works or not. End up to actually working fairly good. I mean, I want to see a dyno graph, but I mean, turbo, they plays a massive role, okay? But also the exhaust gases, how they flow, the intake, how it flows, it decides on the engine efficiency as well. And it looks like this is working fairly efficient. So it kind of works. But obviously then you need probes, you need proper testing to show exactly how it works. And it would be great to have a dyno graph and obviously the probes under the back pressures into each cylinder, to obviously from the standard one to what I've done, to see exactly what the difference is like. But this fucker pushes strong from 2,500 RPMs up to 5.5. The limit is over 6,000, but up to 5.5 it pushes very, very strong, and you know, it feels like it's working very, very good. So I'm confident this shit works. So now we covered the log style manifolds, and these are actually nice log style manifolds. You can see them on the internet, people sell them, or even standard on the standard parts. They are fucking shocking. I mean, honestly, you got one tube and just, you know, poles going into one. Everything is fighting together, and you just fucking mess there, because there's a massive unnecessary argument between these hot gases particles, you know what I mean? Everyone wants to go a different direction, everyone's pushing someone around, and it's like, oh, where the fuck you going? Where the fuck you going? Oh, fuck you, no, fuck you. And the cat say, no, fuck you both, you go in this direction. Fair enough. But why do we have to argue when we can have something like this? And this is, in comparison to these 2 dickheads, a Spanish water park. Why? Well, you've seen the slides on the water park, right? This is what it is. Now you got each particles. Let's say you got the gases. You go gases from hot particles from the gases from this port, this port, this port, and this port. They never argue. It goes in, nice slide, nice water park slide. Off you go. Same for this one, same for this one, and same for this one. They all completely separated. They never argue. And at the point they actually meet each other, all each other, is a fucking massive party. All right? You see, they're all facing the same direction. There's no fighting. There's no like, oh mate, where the fuck you going? Oh fuck you, I'm going there. Oh fuck you, I'm going there. No, where you going? That direction. Where you going? That direction. Oh, let's have a party. Let's go together and spool this motherfucker as you never spooled before. You know. So this is the answer. And when you see the dyno graphs of resulting this against this, now it doesn't matter how much power you make, you know, because you can make, let's say for example, 500 brakes on this exhaust manifold, and then you're gonna dyno, or you see 500 brakes on this exhaust manifold. So you say, okay, what's the difference? Well, the difference is a fucking graph. Let me get a pen. All right, now this is gonna be way more efficient. This is less efficient. So you can actually say on my website, there's a couple of videos and I think I've covered it. Oh, this is the nice one, M3, 3.2 engine Evo we've done for Steve, a good customer of mine. That was a perfect example. He was making 700 brakes before, and now he's making 700 brakes as well. Before, he was on American log style exhaust manifold and shitty plenum on M3 engine with turbo, and then we've done exhaust manifold and the plenum and all the turbo system, and it was making the same kind of power but completely different dyno graph. Let's say this is your graph, okay? This is the power amount and this is your RPMs, okay? So before it was from bottom building up, building up, building up. Oh fuck 700 brakes, and you hold it up for like, I don't know, a couple hundred RPMs. This is fucking useless, because this is what you're playing with. You have to keep the engine in this area. All of this is fucking empty. Now once we've done it, we were able to see something like this, okay? And you have all this area to play with. This is completely different. This way the engine feels much more powerful, much more torque, and is drivable, okay? And the engine lives better. Now with the log style manifold, he was complaining he couldn't do one lap of gate build because the engine was overheating. Actually, they had to lower the power from 700 to, I think, 450 or 550, something like this. I don't want to say any bullshit, but I remember they had to lower the power quite a lot because there was actually knocking noises from the engine, so it wasn't safe, because obviously the engine was not running efficient. Obviously each cylinder was firing up differently, each cylinder has a different kind of combustion, you know, which is fucking shit. When you build a proper plenum, so you bring the air equally through all 6 cylinders, and then you extract the gases roughly equally from all 6 of them, so they have the same back pressure, the same intake pressure, all the stuff, so they all work together. And this is the thing, you have to stop making them fucking argue between each other. Make them work together for you, and they're gonna work efficiently, okay? No arguments, efficiency. And this is, imagine this like a woman's orgasm, all right? This is the amount of, obviously, pleasure she have, and this is the time she have this pleasure. If this is, and this is your poor performance, very poor performance, she'll be flat. She'll be like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, well, okay, yeah, I kind of like it, yeah, you're not too bad, could be better, but oh, fuck me, oh, all over. A bit boring, right? What if this is a graph of a woman's orgasm? She'll be like, straight from here, it was like, oh shit, oh, you're good at this, oh, fuck me, I love it, oh, you're so good, oh, you're so big, I love it, I love it. And then it picks up and you hold her at this point for a long time. Mate, I guarantee she's gonna love you. She is fucking gonna love you, because you got all of this against all of this. This is time and performance, okay? All of this time you got full performance, or you got full performance for this sort of period of time. There's no argument about this, right? Okay, so, and this is why this is a much better exhaust manifold than this one. Now let's cover the different style of exhaust manifold, tubular exhaust manifolds. This is an MX-5 one I've designed, oh Jesus, years ago. I made a jig, but actually I didn't put them in production. I don't know why. I just never had the interest. I just left them there. You see, collecting dust as fuck. However, it is very simple. You're trying to make the runners as equal length as possible. However, there's this big myth about turbo exhaust manifolds that the runners, they have to be equal length. This is the biggest bullshit I ever heard. No, that matters when you have a non-turbo exhaust manifold, okay? On a turbo exhaust manifold, sure, equal length runners helps, But if this one is slightly longer than this one, it doesn't fucking matter. Unless you got one which is that fucking short and the other one is hugely long. Like you can see on the 6-cylinder engines, for example, when they bring when the flange is here, for example, and they have one runner straight into the flange and the 6th one going from there all the way here. That's wrong. This one should go all around, make some length and coming back. I've seen this so many times and that's bullshit. That's wrong. But if you got some differences, that really doesn't really matter too much. Sure, it would be better if they're equal, but it really does not make huge difference. So don't concentrate on that. On a tubular exhaust manifold, what really matters is this motherfucker here. This is the merge collector, and the merge collector is the one who decides. You see how it's done? Who decides how these 4 pricks, okay, not gonna argue together. You're gonna make them join together for a great fucking party inside the turbo. If they're gonna argue, then you're gonna go inside the fucking turbo. It's gonna be fucking argument. Do you want an argument? No, because that's unnecessary pressure, you know. that's called back pressure. Okay, that's how you can explain it. This is like, you know, it's like, again, Log-style manifolds, you got fucking left side and the right side. This is like politics. Left's gonna fucking argue with the right. Who's more right? No, you're both fucking wrong, okay? It's the government that decides which direction you're going anyway, and you're both gonna go this fucking direction, which is what? Serving the fucking government. Which is wrong, because the government should serve you. This is the fucking government, and these are lefties, and these are the right ones. You can't distinguish all of them, which one is which. Why? Because they fucking work together. This is fucking guy, this is gay, this is fucking lesbian, this is straight, this is fucking gun owner, and guess what? They're all having a fucking great party. Why? Because you did not make them argue. You make them understand they all work for exactly the same purpose, to have a fucking great fun in one of these. And this is what you have to understand. Only this way, the world, which is your engine, is gonna work efficiently. Okay, now there are different kinds of tubular manifolds and especially merge collectors. Okay, let me cover this. This here is the one I've built again ages ago from SR20 DAT engine. Great engines, blah blah. You can see the difference in the runners. Diameter of the runners, but this is only because MX-5 has a smaller pulse on the head, this one has a bigger pulse on the head. However, the biggest difference, as you can see on the merge collectors, you see, this is one piece and this is 2 pieces. This is called a twin screw exhaust manifold, which works on turbos like this. You see, this is the exhaust manifold on the turbo, exhaust housing on the turbo, and it's a twin screw. And this one is a single one. Let me sneak peek if Steve has a single one. Okay, there's a one. This is a single screw exhaust housing for the turbo. Okay, so this will go in here. So you see, all in one big fucking party. And this is twin screw goes in this, because you see 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Here we go like this. So they're still separated. They're still separated over there, and they're gonna have a fucking party inside there, not inside there. All right, they're gonna start later. What happens, you keep them separated, you give them charge proper speed, and then spool that motherfucker even faster than one of these. And this is how you organize a proper fucking party. All right, now how you build exhaust manifold is a twin screw. The proper way to do it is to find out a proper firing order. Like I said, on the 6 cylinders, the firing order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very fucking simple to build exhaust manifolds for this. You know, very simple. In the 4-cylinder engines, the story changes a little bit, because the firing order is 1 and 4, 2 and 3. So what you do, you get 1 and 4 cylinders go into one stroke. You see, this goes here, and this one, if you follow it, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go, goes into this screw. So you got 1 and 4 into this, and 2 and 3 going into this too. Okay, because this is how the engine pulsation works. You know, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 2 and 3, and they interchange between each other. So you got 1 and 2 pulses, just, you know. And this is how it works brilliantly. Now, merge collectors, different kind of merge collectors, because we covered the 4-cylinder ones, which is fairly easy to build. Now the 6-cylinder ones, Now we have these two examples of 6-cylinder ones. This is the one I've built again fucking years ago for a customer that never collected. This is supposed to be a single scroll 6-cylinder engine. This was for, I cannot remember what engine, but it doesn't matter. This is a single scroll one. See inside? You bring all of them together. And when it comes to 6-cylinder engines, it could be quite difficult because you have to have 6 pipes into one flange. This is a T4 flange in instance, and this is a T4 flange as well, so it's good comparison. Although this has slightly bigger diameter. But this is fairly compact, okay? Because you have 3 of them, they're pretty wide, going into this direction, you see, here, and 3 of these going here. But if this was a twin scroll, the twin scroll is not divided this way. So I could not use this 3, okay, from the 1, 2, and 3 cylinder, go in this direction. They will have to be put in here. So obviously it will make this merge collector much bigger, much wider. And sometimes there is an issue with the space, because when you got this pipe here, 1, 2, and 3, you have to start to doing runners, and they're pretty wide, because the radius on these pipes, as you can see on this is a 1.5 inch. It is pretty big, so it's gonna take a massive volume. And this is a great example of it, you see? See that exhaust manifold, how big it is, the motherfucker? That's 1.5 inch, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You got twin scroll there, and 3 pipes on each side. So, it will take much more space. Now, the solution of this, you can make one like this, or one of these. This is above one, because someone bought this one for mistake and sold it for fuck all, so I couldn't resist and bought one. This is a stainless cast one. This is a great solution if you want to build exhaust manifold, because you don't have to make one of these. I can tell you something, this takes time to build them proper, okay? Because once you've done it proper, nothing has to pull, they have to be nicely and all equal inside, and the flange has to stay flat. And you have to weld inside there. I mean, if you're good on welding, TIG welding, not big deal, but it still takes some time, especially to prepare these pipes, to cut them, all 6 of them exactly the same angle at certain angles, so when they put them together, they match exactly. They're making this kind of shape and not all over the place. So this is all cast, and you buy one of these and job done, you know. Whatever they cost, you just have to make a runners, which is much easier, much simpler. However, what they've done, you see the scroll is divided, like I said, this way, not this way, okay? So this will not apply to the twin scroll, like I said. What these guys done is something very clever. These 3 pipes, they're not spread at 1, 2, and 3. They have these 2, and the third one, it comes from this side. So this is a great space saver. And obviously they give you this ports with a blank at the moment, because you can choose then on your waste gates. However, I don't understand why they have 2 of them on this side and 1 on this side, because, well, it's just for no option probably, because on a twin scroll exhaust manifold you have to have 2 waste gate exits, because obviously they separated. You can't just have a waste gate on one side, because the other scroll, so the 4th and 5th and 6th, or 1, 2, and 3 exhaust gases, they're gonna go without, they're still gonna push the turbo without being waste gated, which is gonna be crap. So I think this roughly covers it. Oh, this is another one. This is a 3-into-1. This was just a mock-up that was setting up my jig, and this is when you do a 6 cylinders twin scroll, but separately. What do I mean for that? Okay, let me, okay, as you can see how we do this. 1, 2, and 3. It's a different kind of twin scroll 6-cylinder engine. Sorry, exhaust manifold. Let me show you what I mean. This is my M3, M50, M52. No, this is not M3, M52. Sorry for the mess, it's fucking, I have no time these days. You see the merge collector over there? So you got 4, 5, and 6. You got 1, 2, and 3 into one merge collector, which is 3-into-1, and then into bigger pipe. So these 2, 3-into-1, bigger pipe, and then each pipe goes into twin scroll exhaust manifold, okay? So you keep them separated. So this is another way to do it, but all you have to do is just to separate the fuckers, don't make them argue. You see all of them from each scroll, from each cylinder, sorry, they go in the same direction. They never argue. They go into one pipe, and these 2, they never argue. They join here, obviously in the same direction, twin scrolls, pull the turbo, party happens. And obviously you have 2 waste gates, one on this scroll and one on that scroll, because obviously they have to control them separately. And yeah, well, the intake plenum is, I have to send this off to France. Now, well, this is a different topic, you know. This is we're gonna be here for hours if I cover this, so fuck it, another day maybe. And yeah, so exhaust manifolds, I think that's it really on exhaust manifolds. I mean, you can go into technical stuff. Oh, this is, sorry, let me put this away. SR20 MX5. It's gonna be fucking electric anyway, everything, so it's gonna be all ruined. The kids don't want to fucking play with this stuff anymore, which is a shame. It's all ready, you know, get yourself a new Golf fucking sequential gearbox or whatever, remap it and off you go. No, this is fucking tuning. But it's dying slowly, unluckily. However, this is my old flange that I made for my exhaust manifold with a different turbo. I had to chop it off, and this goes into that car. However, ooh, still dust coming off. So this gonna go here, and this gonna go here. Join them together, no fucking argument, into one turbo, and you have one wastegate because they are joined. So gases joined, one wastegate, makes sense. However, what I want to talk about is this. I don't know if you can see it. It says 316. This is type of stainless, okay? Now, this one here, you can't really see it, but on this, I don't know if with the light you can see or not, but it says 304. These are two different kind of stainless. I think this is 304 as well. Now, 304 stainless, it is much easier to work with, and and mostly it is much cheaper to buy. It is very, very inexpensive. The 316, which is, no, this is 304 as well. I've done it ages ago. I used to use 304, but I scrapped it. I only use 316. Now, the difference between the 316 and 304, apart this being much cheaper and easier to work with, is that this is more heat resistant. Technically, what it means that it releases the energy. It is less of a conductor. This is more it works better as a conductor. What it means, it absorbs the energy quicker and releases the energy quicker. This one, it doesn't release energy as quick as this one, which means the heat is energy. This will release the heat much faster than this one. So you say, well, this is, well, so it's good. No, it's not, because what you want is you want your exhaust gases to be as hot as possible when they go inside the turbo. Why of this? Well, because the hotter the gases, the more of the volume of it. If you have, this is for the intake, this is reverse ideology that you use for the intake. You know, it is very, very well known that you put an intake cooler or the charge cooler and you cool down the air before going inside the engine, because the colder the air, the more denser the air, okay? And in a smaller amount amount, you have more particles of oxygen, of air. On the exhaust, you want completely opposite. You want it the more volume you can have, because then the more volume, the faster the turbo is gonna spool. So this against this, it will have the gases hotter and the more volume of them, which means only because of you using the 316 stainless instead of 304, your turbo is gonna spool quicker. Simple as that. Plus, to be honest, 304, it will rust. It will develop this kind of surface on the top, and this will always be like this. Will never change. So I think that's it. I think, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. You know, I wanted to do it from a long time ago, but first I don't really have much more time. I really have to crack on the van because this fucker has to go home today. So that's it for the exhaust manifolds. If you want to know something more, ask me, and maybe I'll find the time to cover something more. Obviously these days I don't build any of these, not as often, exhaust manifolds and turbo system, because I'm just concentrating on playing more with my staff and friend stuff, and just, you know, just chill out. And I do a bit of bulging these days, especially on my van, which I didn't used to do, but I actually enjoy it. So yeah, next one is going to be that one probably. However, That's it for today, and I'll see you soon.